Hello and welcome. This is Jennifer. Now, I'll be honest, lately I have been struggling creatively and kind of in a rut, so I decided to work my way through it and just sit down and create something, and I went ahead and filmed it for you. So in this video, I'm going to have some ways to kind of stretch your dies to get new looks, a few different techniques, and I'm hoping that it's helpful to you. So let's go ahead and get started with the die cut inlay technique that you see on those hearts there. Now with this technique, it looks like the die cut words are part of the heart. It's nice and smooth, and then little pieces hang off the side. I don't know what it is, but I love the look of creating an embellishment like this. So let's get started with the words in the heart. I have a great die from Simon Says Stamp that says, "You make my heart smile." And I have some Simon Says Stamp black cardstock that I sprayed with some shimmer spritz so that it would have some shine to it. And I heat set it so it would dry. I'm going to go ahead and run this through the die cut machine. Now when I take the die off, I just kind of slide it and flip it upside down so that all the pieces stay in the die. I'm going to take 2 pieces of some Post-it tape here. You could use masking paper or press and seal, anything kind of sticky. I'm going to press this on the back side of the cardstock. The die is still in place. And I'm going to flip that over and put it onto a cloth. Any cloth would work. And I'm going to press my paper piercer through each of those little holes. The reason I'm doing this is that sticky paper will contain all the little pieces of this die cut. There are a lot of little pieces, and it keeps them from getting loose or me having to fish for the right piece. So after I've poked through, then I have my die cut stuck to that Post-it note. Okay, so now I'm going to take 2 pieces of pink cardstock. This is Lawn Fawn pink cardstock. And I am putting Stick It double-sided adhesive tape onto one piece of it. Now notice I'm keeping those release papers right there at the top of my screen. I'm keeping those. We're going to need those for our technique. They're great for many things, and I'll talk about that. But I'm just putting Stick It adhesive on one piece of the pink cardstock because it'll die cut beautifully. Now on the other piece, the piece that doesn't have the Stick It, I'm going to go ahead and run that same "You Make My Heart Smile" die over that so that I can cut the words out from this. We're going to do an inlay technique here that's really fun. Okay, so from this piece, I'm just going to use the negative space. So I'm just pulling the negative space off, but leaving all the little words inside the die. That will contain them. So last time I just used the sticky paper. This time I'm leaving them in the die because I don't need to use the die again. So that's a way to kind of hold all those little pieces so we don't have to search for them later. Okay, so after I've pressed that Stick It product down firmly onto that cardstock, I'm going to peel off the release paper. Be sure to keep the release paper. And now I'm going to press the negative space over it. Here's where you can use the release paper. You take the shiny side down and you can use that to press down and really kind of press it into that Stick It. Because remember, anywhere there's a word, the adhesive is revealed. It's showing there, so you don't want to stick your fingers on it. Now I have a heart die from Hero Arts that's just the perfect size to be slightly smaller than this word die cut message. Going to use a little piece of tape to hold it in place. Now I have another piece of that release paper once again. I'm putting it shiny side down over that die cut opening. The reason I'm doing this is that if I ran this through my machine, it would just want to stick to the plate. This keeps it from sticking to the plate. So now I can go ahead and remove that release paper, and there we have a heart die cut where all the words are open with adhesive. So now I can take my black die cut and just fit them in like puzzle pieces. Now, of course, you could instead just glue the words on top of the heart and have them hang off. The reason I'm doing this is A, I think the inlay technique looks really amazing. And B, it doesn't take that much more time because with this greeting that I chose, there are many words and I would be spending a lot of time trying to get them perfectly centered and positioned. But by doing the inlay technique, I have this negative space, the pink negative space, that allows me to just fit the black die cuts in perfectly, and there's no guessing game on what spacing I need to do or where I need to put them. So you can see this doesn't take long at all because the pieces fit in nicely. Okay, so now I have the little bits of the inside of the letters that I need to add back into it, like the middle of the E and the middle of the A. Here's my trick. I take the die with those little letters still in it, pop it right over the black die cut. It just pops right into place. And now I go through and I push each center of the letter through the little hole with my paper piercer, and it pushes it right into place onto my die cut. So this is just putting those little centers of the letters right into the sticky adhesive that's still showing. So I'm going through and pushing through on all little holes. If the black cardstock is underneath it, it won't stick, but those little openings it will. And that's a fast way to fill in those little letters. Now here is the big trick to die cut inlay. I can't recommend this enough. Once you've done your die cut inlay, put it between 2 pieces of white cardstock and run it through your die cut machine. This squishes it down and makes it super smooth, and check it out. Look how beautiful and flat that is. With the little bits of the sentiment kind of hanging off the edge, you got the shine on the words. Absolutely gorgeous. Again, you could just glue them on if you want to, but this inlay technique really doesn't take much longer and gives beautiful results. Okay, so now let's do the background. I wanted something that was subtle but had a little bit of shine and interest, so I decided to do heat embossing. So there's this great new die from Simon Says Stamp. They're outline hearts all clustered together, and I'm going to turn that into a stamp. So I've cut a piece of white craft foam that's got a little dimension to it, and I'm going to cover one side of it with the Stick-It adhesive. I'm telling you, the Stick-It adhesive is wonderful for die cutting. Now remember to keep those release paper scraps that you have left over, because we'll use those for another technique in a future video. Okay, so now I'm going to run this through my die cut machine, and I have the Stick-It side down, and be sure to use some kind of shim in there, like a metal adapter plate underneath your cutting plates. That'll make sure you have enough pressure to cut through, but even without that, it should cut through just fine. Now your craft foam will kind of flatten a little bit, but that's okay, it'll pop back up after a few minutes. I took the release paper off the outline hearts only, so just the hearts are revealed, sticking it onto an acrylic block and peeling off everything else. We don't need any of the other shapes. We can keep those little hearts for another project, but I just need that outline die cut. So by just taking off the release paper of those outlines, that's all that's going to stick to my acrylic block. Now this will stick to the acrylic block long enough for me to stamp with it, but then once I peel it off, I can clean my block off afterward and no one will ever know. So now I have a stamp from that die cut. So I'm going to stamp this with Versamark ink so that I can do heat embossing, but you could use any ink with these foam stamps that you can create. I'm going to start in one corner, stamp with the Versamark ink, and I'm going to do both cards at once just to save me some time. Now because this is clear ink, it's kind of hard to see where you've stamped to go and repeat stamp. So I'm just going to heat set with embossing powder in between each. I chose one of my favorite embossing powders, which is the Wow Silver Pearl Embossing Powder. When you look at it directly, it looks white on white, but when you tilt it in the light, it has this silvery pearl to it that is just gorgeous. It's great for a subtle background. It's hard to see in the video there, but it really is a great choice for a background where you want something a little special but not too much. So after I did that, I went ahead and repeat stamped that same stamp and heat embossed each over the entire background of the card. So now it's time to put the card together. I have used a heart die that's slightly smaller than the heart that we created out of the pink cardstock there. It's from that same heart die set from Hero Arts. I die cut it from some craft foam. And now I'm going to adhere all that together with some double-sided tape. That craft foam is just going to give me a nice even raised dimension so that those little bits of the sentiment that hang off look like they're kind of floating off the edges. At this point, I wasn't sure if I wanted to add some sequins or gems or other little hearts, but I decided to keep it simple as is, and instead I'm going to stamp something on the inside. So this is a new love stamp set from Simon Says Stamp also. Beautiful sentiments here. There are dies that match this. I decided to just take the sending you hugs and kisses words and piece them together and stamp them with black ink in the center of the card. I like stamp sets like this that allow you to kind of mix and match your own sentiment, and especially when you have a tight space. You'll notice that when I stamp this in the center, even though it's not a tight space in the center of this card, but it's nice and narrow, so you can kind of make it fit into a smaller area if you want to. I also stamped this sentiment onto the flap of an envelope so that it would match the inside of the card also. It's fun to kind of tie everything together. So I kept this card pretty simple. I created another one just like it. I did the same technique of that inlay with the heart and the words kind of hanging off the edges. But this time I used the Miss You die. This is another new one from Simon Says Stamp with a heart and everything's kind of hanging off the edges there. The background is the exact same. This time I just used 2 shades of teal cardstock from Simon Says Stamp, and it just gives that beautiful smooth look. So there you have a way to kind of stretch your dies, kind of got me through a creative rut. I hope that if you get stuck in a rut too, that you'll just kind of drive right through it and keep on creating. Okay, so all the supplies I used are linked below in the YouTube description. In the middle are 2 other videos that might be helpful to you with similar techniques. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon.